And good morning, good good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, community. Waking up with me. I am still waking up, still prepping up. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, 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 welcome. How is everybody today? Good morning, good morning. Welcome, Facebook family. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, Latifa. Thank you for being here with me, Malika and Shamata. Appreciate your support and partnership this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to door four. Welcome to door four. Where does time go? It's been 4 months already that I've been here with you guys. Good morning. Pretty excited. Pretty excited. Good morning. Welcome if you're just landing out there in Facebook land. Good morning, Helen. Good morning. Welcome. Hey, Adam. Good morning.
Blessed, Jamie. How you doing this morning?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm finally fully up and ready to go and all that good stuff. So I wouldn't dare complain. Good to see you here in the space. It sounds like the mechanics are about to start. Good morning. So sorry, I blanked out for a minute. I totally forgot I'm supposed to be saying good morning till wake up song comes on. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Ooh, so good to be here with you all. Good morning. Everybody's prepping for work. I'm prepping for both, for the session, for work as well. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, good morning. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning, we're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Whether this is your first time joining me or you've been taking this journey over the past, what have I been here? 3 months. This is door four, so the fourth month. Good morning, Laura. I'm so grateful you're here. One of the things that I love about healing is that we arrive from different places at different times, different programs, all kind of different experiences in life, but we all land here. And we have the opportunity to meet each other exactly where we are. Today's conversation is around embodiment. We've spent a lot of our lives learning, understanding, or rather, I have it learning and unlearning. It's the unlearning for me. Understanding, surviving, adapting, and carrying. Today is definitely not about us learning something new, but I find that even when something is not about us learning something new, we tend to learn something new anyway. But it's more about asking ourselves, what am I ready to live? What am I ready to live? So I offer you guys just to get a little grounded if you're not in motion right now, if you have a moment, if you're on in the restroom or just still somewhere where you can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb or solar plexus for the gents in the space. So I'm going to take 3 deep breaths together. Another one and one more. So good morning, Florence. Without trying to change anything, what do you notice in your body this morning?
Noticing a lot of pressure in my plexus area and just above it. Um, I've been feeling a lot of pain in that area for some reason. And when we did the exercise just now, I'm like, oh, okay, I actually needed to just like move it a bit or just give it some attention for a bit. And
Mm.
I'm
Oh, I love that. It's so interesting how in our society, intimacy is often attached to physicality and physicalness between two people, and intimacy is so much larger than that. And sometimes our bodies are just craving for us to be intimate with it, to stop, to listen, to touch, to feel, to rub. Um, I find that even sometimes just massaging my womb space and my belly on a regular basis, kind of in that way, if you've ever helped anyone who may have experienced pregnancy or experienced it for yourself, and there's like the stretch, that area that kind of grows around the belly. If you've ever looked at a pregnant woman where the bulge kind of starts to poke out and go around. I have a practice and I think now it's actually really, it was kind of an unconscious practice, kind of me listening to what my body wanted. And I do like a full massage, working it from this side, working it from that side. And I'm sure that that's a practice that's done in many different, I'm thinking I've seen it done in cultures after the woman has had the baby and the matriarchs are around her, massaging her body and banding her up. Um, so yeah, so with that, all of that being said, Malika, thank you for sharing and listen to your body and don't ignore it. If there's something that's calling really loudly, maybe even consider seeing your practitioner, just to make sure that there's nothing bigger going on than just intuition, gut, tiredness, or any of that other stuff.
for sure. Florence says she's feeling some tightness in her upper back. She wasn't able to do the exercise. She joined a bit later.
Okay.
Laura says expansion of her internal organs, and I'm complete.
I felt that. I can feel that, Laura, in my belly, when I do those deep breaths, and it typically makes space for quite a bit, when I remove that stagnant air and allow fresh air to flow through my body. Thank you for sharing. So, we're going to do a little reflection, journaling. You're welcome to journal or journal mentally or in your phone if you're on the go. But still maybe like on a train or just like I said in your head. Um, so we're gonna reflect on a few questions. So, and I'll take care of this, you guys. I know you offered to help me with this, but it wasn't, I'm following intuition as well a lot in my practice. I'm practicing not coming, I've lived a life of trying to be perfect. And it doesn't work. So, and when I say that, please take it lightly with the perfect word because it has whatever meaning that we give to it. All right, so I dropped some reflections in the chat that I'll be walking us through. They're there just in case you forget what was asked. So, what truth am I no longer willing to ignore? Where in my life do my actions already align with my values? Morning, Cheryl. Where is there still a gap between what I know and how I live? Whoo, that's a whole word for me right there. What does my body keep trying to tell me? Malika, that one might be for you. Lord, did the next one again? What is all that noise? Sorry, you guys. What does my body keep trying to tell me? And think I reread that one. And then the last one is what would choosing myself look like this week? I'm gonna give you all a couple of minutes. You're welcome to answer one, answer all, answer the one that is calling out to you. And then we will share after. And sharing is definitely an offer, no requirement. But I know that I am in a space where people will share. And let me not forget about my Facebook folks out there. Hello, everybody in Facebook land. Hello, hello, hello. All right. I think the question that's speaking to me the most here, I can repost them.
Alrighty. I have the answer. Mm,
Okay, you're welcome to
What,
share.
what would choosing myself look like this week? I need to stretch more. I need to stretch. I've been feeling a lot of stiffness in my body, mainly because I don't really move around a lot because of work. I'm always on my laptop and I work from home. So I forgot that I'm someone who used to be a very active person. I mean, I used to like kickbox at one point in my life, and I don't know how I forgot about that. So I've just been, my body is asking me to just move around more. I need to move. I need to do more things with my body. My body needs to be reactivated in a way. So choosing myself would be doing things that helps my body feel more grounded, moving around more. And what does my body keep trying to tell me? My body's telling me that I need to chill before 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 something happens. I need to take care of myself. That's what my body is telling me. One of my good friends had a health scare, and we're like 27, 28. I'm 28, she's 27. She had a really bad health scare. So it's been making me think about, okay, am I taking care of myself? Am I taking care of my health? Am I taking the necessary steps to ensure that I'm okay? I wasn't thinking about that, but it's just getting to a point where I just need to be more mindful of what's happening in my body and in my life, and be more mindful of what's happening around me. So, so that's what's happening with me, and those are the questions that really resonated with me today.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I too am a remote worker and it's very new to me. It's been about 8 months. And before that, I was 30 years in the hospitality industry, so always on my feet. Um, and even in that, towards the tail end of that, I recognize that while as a service person, you can be on your feet all the time, it doesn't really mean that you're doing all the things. So what I'm hearing is that whether we're like in a sit down job, a stand up job, whatever it is that we're doing, we have to make sure that we pair the things that our body needs along with that. So that could look like stretching, that could look like intermittent fasting, it can look like paying attention to highly attention, which is what came up for me. So my what minds that rang out to me was the one that I shared, that where is there still a gap between what I know and how I live? And as a person who has taken and completed the Sacred Woman process and learned that that we're supposed to eat to survive and not eat for this like foodie that I am, and just making better choices for what I put in my body. And as I'm in my last days of my 40s, I definitely feel the impact, and I can understand that. Malika, one of my favorite movies is Wall-E, and it's so old, but at that time, it was speaking to like what box living and what all of this, and it wasn't even really talking about technology at the time. It was really just about our habits as far as trash and overconsumption as a society. And um, what wasn't added in there at that time that would probably be added today is the impact of remote work. Yeah, it definitely has its challenges as well, just like the getting up every day and having to be somewhere. All right, before I move on, is there anything in the chat before I oh, that Helen, we will pay so much for silence. I am in the process of reading a book called Autoimmunity, and Um, it's titled How Permission to Put Ourselves First Has the Power to Keep Us Well, Autoimmunity and the Good Girls. And a lot of times I find that that silence that we live comes from a lot of that, the good girl, the fear of others' responses, the losing connections, all the stories that we build up around why we shouldn't say something or let things out of our own bodies or tell our own truths, and move past that. And I see your hand up, Laura.
Yes. Greetings, Coach Jamie.
Created sister.
Good to see you, sister. Yes. Ooh, these are some great, great, great prompts. So for me, my body is telling me, it's not even trying it, it's telling me that I should move more,
Mm.
which I'm not doing, and so much. So this morning I woke up early. I got some good sleep. And I decided I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna go to the gym and do some, workout because my body been telling me, but my um my mind is like holding me back. So I'm so grateful that I got up this morning with that great feeling to get up and to go. Don't let anything hold you back. So much so I practice intermittent fasting. And this morning I felt like, you know what? I should eat some breakfast before I leave. because sometimes I keep going and not eat until like 12, 1 o'clock, and then I feel fatigued, tired. So another thing it's telling me is, well, to go to bed earlier because I've gotten into the habit of going to bed late, scrolling. Now that soccer is on, I'm up watching soccer. So last night, the intention was to go into bed at 10. And of course, I had to watch Brazil beat Scotland. And I think that made me feel better
I
just
love
because
that.
of the game with Haiti and Scotland. I felt so
Yes.
after that. So, yeah, my body is really telling me to, get out of the brain fog. It's a process, but just start
Ashe.
doing the things I need to do to get out of that state and start loving myself. And I actually took out some clothes to take to the tailor because I'm going to a graduation tomorrow. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what? I feel like dressing up tomorrow. And I took out my clothes to take to the tailor. So I'm feeling good this morning. And thank you,
Ashe.
Jamie.
You're so welcome, Laura. I
Yes,
think
yes.
my favorite thing, I love how you continuously search. You're one of my inspirations for sure of my elders that don't give up, that don't stop their healing work, that don't stop seeking what's in their way, what are the blockages and stoppages. Always honored to be your sister, my Be the Tree sister. Anyone else?
Say,
And good morning to everybody else that's joining the space. I have so many names that I love, but I don't want to go too far off because someone you mentioned brain fog was mentioned, and I am definitely experiencing this perimenopause fog that I've just learned about in the last 6 months. And I was glad to have a name for what's going on, and not creating a story around early onset of something that I'm not claiming and not even bringing into the space. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So today's kind of where we're going with this is that awareness is not embodiment. Awareness is often where healing begins. Embodiment is where healing becomes practice. So it's come up quite a bit already that knowing isn't the same as living. I think I saw Cheryl share similar to what I shared about what we're putting in our bodies. I took that program in 2019, in fall of 2019. It's actually part of what I feel kept me from getting sick during COVID because I was actually caring for an elder who we lost while she contracted it, while she went through it all. I was there with her almost up until the last moments. Unfortunately, I didn't get to be there with her. She ended up being taken to the hospital when I had to step away. But I never got it. And I have it. That part of it is that I was at the height of that program. We had started in October. So I had already did my fasting, my cleansing of my body was already kind of through some of the gateways, the major gateways. And it kept me feeling really great for a good 2 to 3 years, just operating that way for 6 months. Um, so with that being said, I know what I'm not supposed to be putting in my body. I know what I should be eating, but it's not the same as embodying it. It's not the same as doing it. Knowing and doing are two totally different things. So I also have recognized in these this last year, I've been working really hard on boundaries and creating boundaries and realizing that there have been a lack of boundaries and creating boundaries in my life. And those can actually even apply to ourselves. What are our boundaries with? How many times do we have limits on how many times we're going to consume something in a week? I'm a hot tea drinker. I love tea. And it goes with milk and some sugar and my coffee with some caramel syrup and all these things. And now that they have this pistachio sauce, I'm in love. But these are not good for my body. And I know it speaks to the discourse in my arms, the tingling that comes down my back when I want some more, I haven't had it. I'm up now and it's like, okay, you've been up for a while. No tea yet? What's going on? And it just doesn't work. So what's coming up for you guys? What truth has become hard to ignore? Where are you being invited to respond differently to something? I believe that was Florence that shared about the conversation that needs to be had. Let me scroll up, trying to scroll up. I believe so. I can't find it right now and don't want to lose focus. Told you that fog is serious, so trying to streamline things and is really important. But yeah, I heard somebody's voice coming in.
Yeah, Florence was saying that she also needs to get off her feet more, and she's lived the good girl life. I hope that's the thought you're
Got
looking
that. Got
for.
that, Florence. And what has been for living the good girl life, what has been the impact on you? Where have you already identified how that good girl grew up and who she grew up to be? Has it been working? Does it not work? And you're welcome to drop in the chat. I know sometimes folks are on the go and moving and getting ready for work and may not be able to hop
Um,
on.
Grand Rising. Yeah, I'm busy doing something, but um, hmm. Well, I've been diagnosed with autoimmune disease,
Hmm.
and I believe it's all part of the whole that same, good girl, not speaking, not voicing anything. None of it, none, like everything was just in there. And as I heal, lots of coming up. Listen, lots of stuff. I mean, I'm wondering how my liver actually carried me 60 something years with all of the emotions and everything packed up in there. That when I say yeah, I speak to her and I say, thank you. Thank you for carrying me all these years when, God, I didn't care for you. Everything was all stuffed in there. So,
Ashe.
wow, that's how it affected me. Hmm.
Ashe. Thank you for sharing,
Hmm.
sis. I'm just like I'm sitting here, my body is kind of reacting and kind of tightening up. I'm like, yes, I can feel it. My good girl is completely activated and throbbing and showing up where she likes to let me know. I have impacted her. Anybody else? So self-worth becomes embodied when we make choices that reflect it. So I sit here and I think over the years of me battling with my mind movies around my own self-worth. And I think about a lot of the choices that I've made. Ooh, whoa, epiphany. I love these moments. And it's always been kind of a contradiction for me in how my self-worth was low, but how I was raised and who I was raised by and how I always felt is yeah, I am special. I am amazing. So that stuff wasn't really missing, that part of the self-worth, but what was missing was my own self-worth. It was my eyes, not the outside world, not the outside world putting a number or anything on my self-worth. It was just from poor choices, from choices of intaking alcohol, from intaking, which I mean, I still do, not speaking that I don't, but I've learned to, and still learning on a regular as I adjust my relationship with it, making sure that it's not something that I'm leaning on or leaning into, that it's just that, a nightcap, a good time with friends, just a little relaxing and not drinking to be comfortable, to be relaxed, to be more transparent and authentic because that's not it. That's not it. And our healing, it's not measured by how much we know, it's by how we respond differently over time. Like, who do we decide to be once we have these tools, once we've discovered these things about ourselves? Do we claim them? Um, you know, just with some transparency, I had a conversation with one of my mini godmothers, not the one that's in the space, because I see you here, Ronnie. Welcome. Good morning. I love you. Another godmother of mine who told me this past winter that she was all the isms and that she was okay being them, and kept them and will keep them. And I don't agree with that. It didn't sit well with me. It definitely didn't sit well with me being an out, open bisexual woman. It didn't sit well with me. So in that moment, I got to feel for her after I removed my, I guess, hurt from hearing the things first, and then almost like a disgust, and then removing the judgment. I just felt for her because all of that, all of the isms, all of the judgment, all of the holding things in, sometimes has that holding things in can have an opposite effect sometimes. The people that think that just saying their truth is all that matters. And I guess maybe this is spirit for you, Florence, with the conversations that need to be had. It's not about what are the isms.
Yeah, I was about to ask too, what are the isms? But before we get into the isms, we have a couple of things in the chat. Um, Laura says, I am drinking a cup of sour soup and moringa. Well, that sounds
Soursop,
tasty.
soursop. That sounded really good. And more than I don't know the taste of all of those off the tip of my tongue. I've had them, but what I do know is that they're amazing for the body, and that's why Laura sounds like that when she speaks. She has so much energy. Very good herbs for the body. Yes,
And we
Florence.
also have sending you hugs, Florence. I do resonate with the good girl syndrome. Prof. Marilyn says, the
Thank
mind needs
you.
fellowship
Oh, sorry.
and esteem. And okay, and yeah, please tell us what the isms are. But Prof. Marilyn says
She,
racism,
sh
sexism,
mhm.
xenophobia, and homophobia.
She basically
Those are
hit
the
it on the
isms.
nail. She basically hit it on the nail. Um, yeah, it, I don't want to go too deep into the conversation because it'll literally take me back to that space. And it was a really deep conversation, but that was the biggest thing that I walked away with because I think it was one of the things in the conversation that hit me the hardest in the gut, in the space of, well, I'm some of those things in there. So, um, yeah. But at the end of the day, I hadn't, because I have done a lot of healing work. I've learned to recognize that people's statements aren't mine, that I don't have to wear shoes that are not mine, that if something doesn't fit for me, that I don't have to take it personal. I don't have to own it. And at the end of the day, it's harming her more than it is me. So, yeah, I let it go. Um, which the next question is, where are you being invited to respond differently? And that's exactly what that is. There are days that I feel like, oh, I could never speak to her again and I'd be okay. But where I am responding differently is that if I spoke to her tomorrow, I would still be okay. And I still love her just the same. And I haven't allowed any disdain or I don't want to even use the word hate because it's someone that I love so much and I'm just kind of overloaded and the word hate is just thrown around so much and so lightly and has such a heavy energy that I wouldn't dare even mention that, but there's just there's forgiveness and there's release for me. So that's a definitely a different response for who I am, and not writing someone off. And what practice helps you stay connected to yourself? Yes, Marilyn, I appreciate that help. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Laura's asking what are the triggers or the activations telling me? Hmm.
Come on, Laura, let's
My
talk a little bit more about that.
Yes. Listening to you speak about your conversation with your friend,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking that, what triggers are there or the activation and what are they telling you? But I put it for me because
Got you.
all right, go ahead.
So, what are the triggers for me? So, I spoke about self-worth. So, having a conversation where someone is naming these certain things that don't work, the little girl in me wanted to go, but that's me, but that's me. How could you feel that way? But that's me. So it triggered that self-worth monster again. Um, and I guess it just triggered a level. I also have um, abandonment energy that floats through my body. So it kind of triggered that. What else was there? And is that what you meant, Laura, just for clarity for myself?
Yes, Coach Jamie, because that's what I saw for you, because I saw it for myself.
Yeah, so it just basically re-brought up that conversation around self-worth and just abandonment. Because this is a person that was around either during my mom's pregnancy or they met right before. Um, so the person has known me my whole life, and I've known their child, my god sister, their whole life. So yeah, it was pretty hurtful to hear that. But I also have to recognize that I am a late, there's something called a LLL, and it's a late in life lesbian. And coming out late also has its impacts, and everyone is not going to be accepting. And I'm okay with that because it's more important to me to live my truth than to be somebody that I barely see or see every few years or every 5 years to live for them, if that makes sense.
Hey, thank you for your vulnerability and your transparency. I see your
Yeah,
healing, girl. Thank you.
thank you. You're welcome. It doesn't take me much to tap in and give you guys the most authentic sides of myself, especially because I know it's like one of the safest places I've ever been in my life. This Wake Up Everybody community, my soul family.
We love
Oh,
you.
I love you too, Malika. See what you did,
Prof.
sister?
Marilyn,
Uh-huh.
sorry, Prof. Marilyn says the divine feminine honors emotional and physical hygiene because nature is science. And Florence says, recently I came to notice one of my isms. However, I'm giving myself grace and I'm complete.
Ashay, please do, because I'm sure we all have some level, if it or uh, at least a drop of ism, and it's not even always our choice. It's not even always our own. Sometimes it's taught, it's what we've heard around us, it's maybe through an experience that we've experienced that might have been in one incubator, and we apply it to the rest of the world. For instance, I used to be a server at a hotel in Midtown for 13 years, before I left New York. And I was the only, it was two Black American people on the restaurant staff, in that whole area. Um, and everyone else was Latin or from Africa. And it was a very interesting, different time for me. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about other cultures because I have to remind people a lot that are not from New York, and any of you that may be on that are not from New York, that while New York is a very diverse city, people don't always live diverse lives. We still live our segregated lives. We may only still stick to our people. So you really, or maybe only live around our people so that they'll go to school with our people. So that's who we get to experience. Not always by choice, not always by something that makes us, because I know a lot of times, I know when I saw my isms, my good girl was like devastated and she would shut down and not want to look at them and explore them. But it's so valuable when we are aware of who we are and then can actually look at something and say, does this work? Do I want to keep it? How does it impact me? How does it impact others? And make sound decisions for who we want to be. Thank you for sharing, Florence. Anybody else before I move on to the next section? Anyone else want to share what practice, maybe someone can share what practice helps you stay connected to yourself? For some reason, Marilyn is coming up for me.
Florence has a hand raised.
What did, what did she say? I missed that.
I was saying how it came up. I was at a webinar. It was
Mm,
a webinar where there were about 18 speakers. And most times when I see whether it's a webinar or whether it's a movie and the actors and all of this, I'm always searching for my face. I'm
Ashe.
always searching for one of me, someone that looks like us. Then I see one little, I see, I call it one little black person stuck in a corner. And that really, impacts me. And it just reflects, like, to me, society. And then also I see, like, everybody else in the scene, or the actors or whoever it is, they are attached. Like, most of them have a partner, but
Mhm,
my one
mhm,
little person that looks like me isn't attached to anybody. They're just stuck there. And
mm,
I know that's part of the narrative, a certain narrative. And so when I noticed that I was searching for my one little face for, for,
mhm,
for, for somebody who looks like us in the webinar, I came to realize, and I told my sister, Laura, that I'm always asking for like guidance from spirit.
mhm.
I'm always asking for, angels to, and angels to help, quote unquote angels, and
Yes.
guidance and all of that. But I came to realize that when I saw all this sea of other faces, I was
Mhm.
I am blocked in a way from receiving what they might have to offer.
Ashe.
And so I noticed that as an ism. But
Ashe.
I'm opening up.
Ashe, I love that share, Florence, because it's something that can happen also from two different sides. Because I hear that one can be our taught, our taught things, our things that we heard or make up in a space when it's not predominantly filled with people that look like us, versus there's also the side that sometimes is looking for comfortability. So I think that's what I've learned about myself in those instances, and having to do the work, that some of them are actual isms, and then some are from just wanting comfort and likeness and understanding from possibility of shares. Now, what I did here and there is that there's also possibilities of shares as others, because what we do all have in common is that we're all human beings. Because although everybody in this space all looks alike for the most part, of course, different skin tones, we are still all very different. We're all still different human beings. We all still have different cultures, different backgrounds, raised in different areas, born in different areas, made up of different moon stars and all the good stuff. And yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Florence. I love that. I love that you were able to recognize that while focusing on something else. That's huge for me, always being open. And Rachel, you dropped something that spoke to me, and it's like actually perfect for right where we are. You wrote that one of the things that you do is prayer, self-reflection, movement, and applying change. And applying change is exactly what we're here talking about today. And I'll give you a word offer because I know you love to write. And applying change seen as embodiment, embodying who you want to be, embodying the change that you want to see. Yes, 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 that is so true. All right.
Laura says,
Mm-hmm.
she has a practice of self-reflection, and causation helps me and helps her anchor herself. Helen says, everyone has a special gift to offer life. It's sad. She doesn't like it when people discriminate on others because they're different from themselves, from them. Prof. Marilyn also says, many ethnic groups globally, one human race, many philosophies, one love. Florence
Ashe,
says, we are one of a kind, unique beings. And I'm complete.
Ashe, thank you. All right, so the embodiment practice. We've spent time listening with our minds. Now let's listen with our bodies. If you can, you're welcome to stand. I'm going to stay seated. But if you stand, notice how your body stands when it's protecting yourself. We've been having a lot of conversation around exploration, around isms, around things that can be triggering. How does your body stand when it's protecting itself? Take one breath and allow one place in your body to soften. Right now, my shoulders are tight and tense. So when I breathe, that's where I notice, that's where I notice my body. My body gets very tense in here. It's one of the reasons that I despise the cold weather because when it's really, really cold, my shoulders end up doing this. And then by the time I get home, well, this was when I used to work in Midtown. By the time I get to the top of the Bronx, all of this. And even now, I'm thinking as a remote worker, all of my tension goes right up in there. And that's the place that I have it, that's how my body is protecting me. I'm thinking about being in crowds, and when I'm anxious, it's always like a hunched up kind of thing. So I'm going to take my breaths, and during the rest of our session, continue to just breathe and allow that place to soften. Now imagine the version of you who trusts herself, others, who trust what you hear from your body. How do you stand? How do you breathe? What changes? What changes? Hmm. Take a few more deep breaths. Continue to soften the parts of your body. And I welcome you that if there's it doesn't have to be one place in your body. If there's anywhere else in your body that's holding tension, that's holding anything that you may be dreading in your day, the rest of your week, just anything in your world that may be causing any kind of chaos, upset, any conversations that need to be had, any make wrong that needs to be released. Is there anywhere where you're making yourself wrong for something, making others wrong for something? Where's that showing up? What does it feel like? Let it go. Soften it. Soften it. So interesting. I'll share a little something that just came up for me. So during my years of living in Atlanta, one of my friends that I made was having a birthday celebration. Or actually, no, this was a time that I went around and I went to her job to go see her. And her mom hung out at her job quite often, very spicy, older woman from Philly, had been in Atlanta, raised her children for over 20 years. And I went the first time without my girlfriend, but the next time we went back with my girlfriend, and we were having a conversation, and she comes over, her mom comes over to talk to us, and her mother's like just looking at us, and very, very spicy elder, very young natured. And she just like looks at us, and she looks at my girlfriend. She's like, you're cute. She was like, and you're pretty too. This is to me. She's like, and you're pretty too. She said, but you need to soften up. And I was like, she said, yeah, sis, soften up. She said, where did you say you from? Didn't you say you were from New York City? She said, I'm from Philly. I know how we are in the North. She said, you need to soften up. At the time, I handled it good on the front, but on the inside, I really took it a tad bit personal, a tad bit personal. But over these years of receiving that message, because I have it that it was a message, it wasn't her making a judgment on me. It was me receiving something that was valuable to me that would end up upping my self-worth from the inside. Um, that's one of those impacts that being a New Yorker had on me. It did harden me. When you are from our cold brick city, we are taught to right now, sis, that has been going viral all week since last week, that was on that pole that the woman pulled her off, and just listening to her conversations and everything that she has to say after. I just love us. I love our spirit. I love how tough we are. But there are times that softening up could serve us, especially in our feminine phases and in our feminine spaces. There are times to be hard, but I like letting myself soften up, and that includes allowing anxiety to release, allowing judgment to shift and change, allowing those pre-taught isms to go away, um, to release, and to look at a person as themselves and not as a whole culture, as a whole race, as a whole building, as a whole anything. They are only themselves. They're not their whole family, not any of that. So, has something come up for anyone with those shares, with the practice of breathing through your body and noticing how you stand, noticing what changes? I think I saw some shares pop up in the box.
Florence says her shoulders are always raised and tight. She says, when I'm aware, my shoulders are relaxed, my head goes up, my back is straightened. All that happens when I'm truly breathing. Cassandra says, I recently wrote a piece, Let the Belly Hang. Then I
Mm.
discovered a local artist and the perfect piece of art. The artist did not have a name for it, so I named her Let the Belly All Hang Out. Oh, that's nice. Could you please share more about that, Cassandra?
Yeah, I'm so, thank you, Malika, because I was definitely gonna ask her if she was available to come on and give us some more. That sounds so interesting.
Grand Rising. Yeah, so
Greetings.
hi. I just noticed that a lot of times and for years that I had just been walking around holding my belly, just holding it in because even when we like take pictures, that's the first thing we think about.
Mhm.
Oh, stand to the front, face the front, don't do the side or hold your belly in. You know how we do when we
Mhm.
take the pictures and stuff. And so even with like carrying things and I could feel it in my back and I had a Reiki session that said I was carrying so much in my back and things and so just letting go and breathing and I wrote a whole like poem about it. And then I just happened to be at an art show. My friend owns an art studio, and her name is actually Cassandra too. So that's the funny part. And I saw this piece, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that goes with the
Wow.
poem that I wrote." And I said I had to have this piece of art, and she does like payment plans that are only supposed to be maybe 2 months or 3 months. And I paid on it for a little bit, and then I wasn't able to pay on it anymore. So
Mhm.
just recently, actually back in April, I think for my birthday, my kids got together and paid the rest of it off.
Oh.
But like in the picture, like her boobs are hanging really low. And when I saw it, my friend that owns the studio said, I just wish she would have lifted up her boobs. And I said, absolutely not. Let them hang.
I say
So
I
I told her
agree.
I knew that was my piece. And even when I was like, oh
Wow.
God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford this, I made a space on my wall where I knew I wanted it. And I was like, this is mine. This will come home with me regardless one day. So I'm just
I
so grateful.
say.
I brought it home last Saturday. Thank you.
Ashe, thank you for sharing. I know artwork is one of my favorite things. And my similar story to that, because I'm like, I was chuckling on the whole payment thing, because I had a very similar experience with Omari and Shamani. Sleep in Peace, sister. I have one of their pieces that they co-created together where he did the painting and then the woman has this braided cornrows going down the side, and the guy has a afro that is all actual real hair, and Shamani had done that part of it. So I totally understand um when a piece of art is speaking to your name for you, and that letting the belly hang or letting it hang. I don't want to change the words, but that speaks so loudly to me. That conversation around, because I think automatically when you said the holding of the belly, yes, I automatically went to pictures and how we're taught to take pictures. But also, as I was waiting and holding space, I realized even as I'm holding space, I'm gripping my gut and not letting it out. Where it's also when we're gripping our guts, we're not breathing. It takes something out of your breathing sometimes to hold your gut in it, especially for some of us if you haven't been working those muscles. Like right now, I'm holding it. I'm feeling my breathing becoming a little bit more labored, having to like speak through and that. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So, anyone else? Thank you for sharing, Cassandra. Hey, Sister
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Welcome.
Hello, my love, my sister, my fellow Willowists.
Good morning.
Good morning, love. Your meditation, if I were not at work, I would have busted out into tears. Um, I feel it in my shoulders the same way you do, and the cold affects me the same way. So all my tension, all my stress, all of that is here. Um, the the holding in things and what do you do to release that? I need to move my body more. And instead of doing that, I've been snoozing. I hit that snooze, honey, and snooze is she been my friend, and she's not a friend. I have to recognize that she's not always a good friend. You know, like sometimes I really need to push her back. Because again, then you feel tired and you feel lethargic and all of that. Um, and having you do the meditation so that I can sit and recognize where I need to hold space for myself, right? Like we're so busy holding space for everybody else. Can I hold some space for me? Can I have some time for me? Can I not think for a little while? And then you want to crawl into a hole and be alone, because that was my go-to for so long. And now when you find yourself in these communities, and some of them are quite divine, I consider this one of those, to do that X's myself out the picture. I don't receive when I don't share. I'm not able to be nourished when I don't share. Yes, and not feel guilty for needing space. And that's another thing. Like you start to feel kind of guilty, and sometimes you feel shame. There is all of that. And being in a new space in my life, because I'm not the same person that I was last year, with the growing and the stretching and the becoming. And sometimes it's exhausting. Um, like it's just exhausting, and recognizing that my body does need to rest. Um, I can't maneuver like I used to. I'm 53 now, and I used to be able to work a double and come back to work and it not be a problem, and and go home and cook the food and do this. And now I work straight hours, and I work 8 hours, and I want to go home and be asleep at 4:30 in the afternoon. Um, there is that, Sister Laura. I love you so much. I miss you, fellow Willowites, and giving myself that time. So thank you for that. Thank you for the reminder.
Thank you for sharing. You know what comes up for me while you were talking? I'm thinking about how so much of, because we started in the top of this series was about what are we carrying, naming things, what are we carrying that's not ours. Then we released it, but in the naming of that part came up for me. And let me not move any forward. Good morning, Tamika. We got so many Willowists up in here. I love it. My tree felt super supported right now. And from the generations that came before us, they were just kind of starting this working class of the working woman. My Nana worked for maybe up until she, due to disability, had to retire. But her generation is kind of that set of women that were going out into the factories, into offices, into spaces and places, and then breeded the next set that became executives and the different things that we've been doing over these generations. But no one really stops to talk about the adjustments. We grow up and we automatically begin to embody what is shown to us from the women before us, but we're not really shown the hows, the whys. We're not told the whys on some things. We just think that Big Mama did it, so I got to do it too. Big Mama did this. Well, Big Mama wasn't going anywhere for 8 hours a day to clock in for somebody else's clock and do everything under their whatever comes under that scope. But we still try to measure ourselves by the next person, by our big mamas, by our nanas, by whoever raised us. And it's not ours. Like we have to sometimes stop and look and go, who is it? Who do I want to be? How do I want to be? I think in this last year, the biggest thing that I've been able to recognize and look at is that I was gifted from Coach Shawnee in our last session or in our voice recording that she recognized endurance. And while it felt good by the end of the message, I'm like, endurance is not what I want to be known for. I don't want the high healer to be known for her endurance. I want the high healer to be known for her stand for femininity, for healing, for softness, for releasing, for forgiveness, not for endurance. And that's what I've built and become by showing up and continuing to say yes to things that may not fit my season. That's the thing that I've noticed the most, is that sometimes we've shown up one way in the world and we don't know how to stop. Or we judge ourselves and think that we should even be doing more or going better. I love that. Thank you, sister. I love that. With all of that being, uh-huh. Go ahead,
Oh,
Malika.
no, go ahead.
Did you
Go
need to
ahead,
share
Jamie.
something? Okay. Um, so with all of that being said, I want to send you guys with a mirror practice today, how we can become embodying. How can we start to practice embodying what it is that we've noticed, who it is that we want to be, what it is that we want to take on. So it's something called a mirror practice. You're welcome to use a mirror, you can use a camera, or you can simply close your eyes. And I'm going to say it first, and then before I close out, I'll drop it in the chat. So you can read slowly to yourselves. I see you. I hear you. I believe you. I honor how hard you've worked to get here. I release the need to abandon myself. I choose myself with compassion. And I trust myself one choice at a time. One choice at a time. I trust myself one choice at a time. Ashe, Ashe, and amen. Thank you, beloveds. So, what is the one practice you'll carry with you after today?
Tamika says, oh, Cynthia, I see your hand raised. Tamika says, we have physical and mental loads holding the same responsibilities of the past with the current level of responsibility and expected to smile and look happy, etc. And Laura says, Wilding's in the house. I know that's right.
Ashe to the wildlings. Wildlings is part of what has gotten me here today. Oh, my Be the Tree family and my wildling family, nothing beats it. Well, I mean, I guess just the soul family in general. So, anyone taking one practice that they heard with them today, anything that came up for you, anything that you'll do to embody what it is that you need for yourself? Sister Cynthia, how are you going to embody putting yourself first? And I'm going to go here because I know you are the jump to your families and I don't know, like colorful words, you jump to your family's loo. Sometimes it's definitely warranted, and sometimes you can say no.
Yeah. That mirror meditation, I'm taking that with me. And
Dropping it
learning to
right
be
now.
soft with myself, to be
Ashe.
soft with myself. You mentioned that earlier. And especially living in New York, right? Like we had, especially as women, we had to take on this tough, I'm a tough cookie, um, type of personality. And I'm 5 foot nothing. So I have to come off a lot bigger than what I am, at times for me. And being soft and feminine in my power. There's power in that. And I have learned that
Sure.
in this space. I have learned that in Be the Tree and in Wild and in the space. So thank you for that. And thank you for the reminder. Wallen's in the house. Love y'all. I'm
Ashe,
complete.
Ashe, love you too, sister. Hey, Noel, welcome. So nice to see you. We need you. We need you. Look at me mixing Be the Tree stuff.
I miss you too.
Hi, Noel. Oh, all right. I love that. All right, you guys. I see we are on the 8:11. I think I missed the 8 a.m. goodbye for everybody. I did get a little note, but was kind of in the middle of a convo. If I missed you and you happen to watch this later or come back later, have a very beautiful day. Feel the energy if you're no longer on the line. Wishing a farewell to those that have to leave. I will be here for a few more minutes. I'm not done yet, but wanted to just acknowledge that. I know some folks have to go. Hey, Florence, thank you for showing us your beautiful face. I love your haircut. And thank you for putting a face to a name. I'm like, oh, I know that face. I know that face. All right. So, hi, beautiful. So, if today's conversation reminded you that you like more space to integrate what's folded in your life, you're welcome to reach out to me. I did not do offers for this morning only because I am in the transition of about to move down to North Carolina in the next, just kind of waiting to see a place virtually on Sunday and lock it in and leave within the next 2 weeks. So I'm hoping I can get to meet up with some people in the next week or two that are here in New York. I do drives, get off at 5, so let me know if anything works. I will also be coming back right before Yoni Logs is launched and probably redo this whole 4 door again. And then I will be offering, of course, a nice discount for Yoni Logs for the whole So family. And I'm looking to have start that up for winter most likely. So the 4 doors will happen again, probably in the end of summer or the fall, probably the fall to start for winter. And I appreciate you guys. And of course, we're going to do one last final closing before I pass over to my beautiful support. So we're going to take one last final breath or final breath together because we're going to take a lot more breaths in this lifetime, God willing. So continue to breathe. Healing isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you are beneath the survival, the expectations, and the stories you have to carry or you've had to carry. My hope is that when you guys leave today, you ladies leave today, you don't feel any pressure to do more. Like, don't feel pressure to do more. Comes up a lot for me when I'm in spaces and places or hear certain conversations. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. And then the backside of me goes, Jamie, your plate is loaded. You're definitely doing enough. It's a story. I hope that you all feel permission to trust yourselves a little bit more. Trust your body, listen to your body, check in with it. Malika, don't ignore the womb telling you you need rest and you need sleep and you need to stretch and move. I'm like, even as I sit here and I think about it, when we are, when we are sitting down, our womb area, our sacral chakra is scrunched. So if you're a remote worker and you're not getting up to stretch, you're keeping that area of your body clammed up all day and not getting up to allow it to open up and stretch out. Um, yeah. And embodiment
Tamika,
is. Mm-hmm.
um, Tamika, I saw you had your hand raised. You still want to share?
I did. Um, I was just thinking about how when you were saying about thinking about everything that it took for you to like get to this point, or us thinking about that for ourselves, and how there's this heaviness about like maintaining where you are and continuing to grow, but how we feel as women, especially, that everything has to look a certain way, or that every step that we take has to be elegant or beautiful or overly feminine. And I was listening to Cynthia talking about there's so many times in this life, and especially in this society, where especially as women of color and black women, that we have to be strong. We can't always live in our feminine energy, because there's a level of unsafety for us that exists out there. And I know even for myself, growing up, I've tried my best to always stay in my femininity, but like society's always asking me to have to be strong, or to have to defend. We've had to be protectors of ourselves and of our families, of our children, of our fathers, our brothers. And something I said to myself was like giving myself grace, that every step that I take doesn't have to look pretty the way society wants it to look. That it's beautiful in its own way,
Mhm.
and I need to not continue to try to build a picture. Like I'm just always, everybody's so obsessed with the look of things, and things have to look this way. And that's why so many people are so unhappy with how they move forward, because they're like, well, what I'm doing doesn't look like this. And it's like, what you're doing is perfect. You just don't know because it's perfect for you. And so you kind of
That's
brought that up
true.
for me this
I
morning. And
I love
yeah.
that last line that you just said, because it actually it speaks to what came up for me. And it's that a lot of times I find that, especially once we get past a certain age and that maiden has now become a woman, and we're still operating from that same story of what the outside thinks we should be, I feel like sometimes it becomes our own story. Now it's not even the outside world that's keeping us in those spaces and places. It's actually us, because now
Mhm.
we're the peanut gallery, we're the outside world, we're now judging what ours looks off based of what we think the world wants to see,
Mhm.
because sometimes the world hasn't even spoken to us. I've stayed in my certain places of healing for too long because of that alone. Because of, oh, wait, no, I'm not in a place that I can actually start helping others yet. I'm not in a place that I can present myself to the world. And in that moment, ain't nobody there but me.
Exactly. We hold ourselves, when we become our own agents of like just holding our own selves back. It's kind of like the idea of like oppression works when you get the people that you're oppressing to participate in their own oppression. It's like
Mm.
that.
Drink. We done drink so much of the water. Now we all the way in the Kool-Aid, and I think that to me is a huge factor to consider, as well as that. At the top, I think it might have been before you landed. I was speaking about the learning of things, and I had also threw in there the unlearning, because the longer we've been doing something, it may be a heavy lift. Some people are able to transform things like this. I've seen people, so I've gotten away from the story of the longer you've had it, the longer it takes you to get rid of it. Some people can transfer that easy. But if you're a person who is an overthinker, has had good girl syndrome, has had people
Mhm.
pleaser syndrome, when you've had all those things, that peanut gallery, that mind, the movies that you've created that are in your head, it does take some unlearning, and it does take a little heavier lifting. So I always I compare things to like muscles. So I say, like, right now in my learning of boundaries, I have a baby muscle. They're baby muscles now. They're still like when you first start going to the gym and that little muscle poke up and it's like a frog and it hurt real bad. Like, I'm still at that phase with boundaries, with speaking when things, with speaking my truths when things are, when it's an uncomfortable, conflicting type conversation. I'm still in a place of shutdown if the person becomes I'm not doing that. I can't. I'm not going to engage. I've completely shut down. And that's something that I want to learn to work past and work through, because it comes up in spaces and places that sometimes people still need your guidance. They still need whatever it is that you're there to give them. And just wanting to find that space where I can ground myself no matter what's going on outside, where I can shut those stories off, those mind movies off, the background noise, and just be present in what's happening right now and not compare it to something else, not be triggered by something else. So that is my growing into. That is what I'm working on embodying, operating from joy through it all. I have
Thank
a
you.
share
That
from
spoke to me directly when you said the overthinker, people pleaser, good girl. That's what I was growing up.
Ashe. I'm sure most of us on this call were at some point. Can I get Sister Latifa, and then I'm going to pass to Malika because I know time is running down. And if anybody else is definitely, if it's like really on your gut to share and it's like bubbling out, you're of course welcome to share.
Peace and blessings. Everything you
Greetings.
spoke about today, I recently went through. I had to have a hip replacement, and I'm used to moving. And I had to stop moving for a while. Well, I'm moving right now, but a little bit differently. And I had to think about how I was going to move, why I wanted to move. And my physical therapist and my surgeon told me, you just had that done.
Mm,
Relax. Don't push yourself. You're doing well where you are. And it caused me to really stop and think about that. And when you asked about what keeps us, um, what do we to connect ourselves with
mhm.
practices? And
Yes.
thank you for bringing that up. And I thought about it, and it's prayer, especially my morning prayer. Especially my morning prayer before the sun comes up, before I start into action. And music. The music causes me to write. It causes me to move. And when I was unable to walk, I'm listening to the music and I'm dancing from the top up. And I'm feeling that
Mm,
joy. And I'm connected to who are you, Latifa? Who are you, this person that you see? And when you told us about this meditation, I wrote this in a poem two
wow.
days ago.
Wow.
And what's out here? And I'm just sitting here and I'm going, oh my gosh,
Wow.
sisters in my head, we are
Wow.
there. And the isms that I had, and I had to release them prior to this week. I had to release some of them because it kept me from getting close not only to that person, but to this person, so that I could
Mm,
get close to that person. You don't know. It is so great.
Ashe.
And I stayed all this time just listening and taking in. And I'm more of a listener now than I
Yes.
have been in the past. I'm
Mm,
older in age, but
yes.
not into action and not into my thinking and definitely not into my moving. And we think because people have told us, oh, you, lady, you can't do this. Who are you to tell me what I can't do? God has given me the ability to move and I'm moving and I'm gonna move as long as I can and I'm gonna speak. And it doesn't matter that someone else doesn't like what I'm saying. I control what I say. I can't control how you think and how you feel about me. And I'm not here to disrespect you, but I gotta respect myself more. And when you talked
Ashe.
about protecting how do we move, I was up in New York. I'm a New Yorker, and I was up in New York in February and I was having a little challenge moving because I didn't have the operation yet, but that's what I had to
Mm,
have. And that woman was standing right on my back.
mm,
And I stood up straight to protect myself. And I put my right arm, my elbow back a little bit and held my arm close to me. protecting myself. And I said, would you please move? And when
Mm.
she didn't, I gave her a little jab with my elbow. And nobody saw that because I didn't want to witness. But thank you
Love
so much.
that.
It's just everything you brought. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate the Wu family. And I love jokes. I love laughing. And I love smiling. And I don't care if y'all like my jokes or not, I laugh at them. Thank you, sis.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you. You know what? You are my mirror. Thank you for being. I, if anybody else has to speak, I will welcome it. But I would be okay if you were the last of the words on this call that spoke to this topic, that spoke to this session, that speaks to our time together this morning, because I too love laughter. I too love to smile. I too love joy. And I just love so much about that share. And you are who I want to be at 80. I'll be 50 next month. So that just sounds like so much juiciness to live. Another 30 years and to sound like that at 80. That's how I want to sound. Don't know. I feel like I probably know your face if I saw you, but I'm sure I've seen you in the space before. And because I know Sister Florence is one of them. When I saw her face come on, I'm like, oh yeah, those were my spicy sisters that were supporting my sister Teresa. This is Teresa's girls. That's what I call y'all because that's when I got to know you all and see your faces. I hadn't been in Wake Up in a little while, and actually our sister transition and is what really inspired me to land back in this morning space and to push through my morning fatigue and all of the stories that were trying to keep me from coming back here in the mornings. Um, yes, Sister Teresa, you are missed.
Thank
Adam,
you, sister. I'm
I
living
will
my life like
never.
it's golden because it surely is. And
Ashe,
blessings to
ashe.
you. And
And
Florence,
with
Gloria, we've gotten closer as a result of this. And I appreciate you and I appreciate all of the Wu family.
ashe. And with that being said, Malika, I'm gonna pass to you because yeah, I got work to get to and I could hang out with these ladies all day. And now that Florence came on the camera, I don't want to go nowhere because she's in the sunshine. I'm like, oh man, I want to get outside. Enjoy that sunshine for me, beloved.
Thank you so much to everyone who's been here today. I'm going to read a couple of your shares before we close out, and then I'm going to share Sister Jamie's contact information so that you guys can get to know her, reach her, you know. Okay, all right. So Cassandra says, in addition to Perfect for You, I also offer Perfect for the Moment, whatever and however that looks. We are exactly where we're supposed to be. Cynthia says she had to leave, so she said bye. Helena says the conversations we have in the woo space gives me pause to be mindful of the inner feelings and exterior experiences that give me comfort and understanding to who I am. Thank you. Florence says that's me, baby muscle in establishing boundaries or confrontation. And that's all we have in the chat for now. Thank you so much for your beautiful shares. Now, Jamie, how can everyone reach you?
All right. So you can reach me. Text is normally the best, or Instagram Messenger works as well. So phone number is 347-331-3483. Facebook, you can look me up under the Yoni Logs. It should come up, or even under my name, just Jamie Monet Lloyd. Then on Instagram at the High Healer, and then email thehighhealer@gmail.com. Thank you, thank you,
Awesome.
thank you. Say hello anytime.
Awesome. So, if you appreciated today's session, I'd like to encourage you to make an offer inspired by this session using the code 1660JM using Cash App. That is Cash App /Spirit of a Woman. Use the code 1660. All righty. And then we have our monthly automated love offerings. I'd like to encourage you to make a love offering. This helps us keep doing what we do, keep the space open, helping you with amazing facilitators and experts. So please, whatever feels right to you, whatever amount feels right to you, please give, and show us some love. All righty. Up next, we have Lawanda Banks with Rooted in Poetry on Sunday. Welcome to all the new members in the space, and welcome to everyone who hasn't been here in a long time. Thank you for coming back. We see you, we love you, we appreciate you, and the Woo space is never the same without you. So please continue to tell your friends, your family, your neighbor, and everyone in between that they need to start their morning with Woo. Would you like to join the volunteer team? Put your talents and abilities to good use. Email us at wakeup.infoseries@gmail.com, and one of our volunteer interest members will contact you. Here is our Zoom schedule for the week. We're on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and on Monday and Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Text us at Woo Nation at 74121 so you know who your facilitator will be for the day. That is Woo Nation to 74121. Stay in touch with us. Register for our weekly newsletter at bit.ly/wake up movement. Follow us on Facebook at Woo Community, that's our private community, and Woo Nation, that's our public community. Follow us on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch up on all the replays. We've been uploading the replays, so please, when you're on the YouTube page, leave a comment, leave a share it with your friends. Email us at info@wakeupseries@gmail.com. All right, everyone. So we have reached the end of our wonderful session today. Thank you for all your wonderful shares and thank you for being here. And now let's show our wonderful facilitators some love and let's begin the love shower. Mic's on, everyone. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for your
much,
Welcome,
Coach
time.
Coach
It's so
Jamie.
good to
Happy
Stokes.
see
Love you
you.
birthday.
Good to
guys.
see
So
you
Give
happy to be here
again.
everyone
with
Still such a
you.
such
big,
a
Thank
good
you so,
fully
so
experience
in,
and get
as
some
soon.
always, you are
inspiration
loved,
for
you are
Very
lovely,
good all
much
the
you are
time.
learning.
beautiful,
I
you
love
are
you.
Keep it
lustrous,
on.
you are
Enjoy the
healing,
Have
you
a
day.
good
Have a
day,
great day.
your
joy.
time, and
Thank
have a
you.
Thank you,
wonderful day today,
Thank
everyone.
you
family.
so
Love
much.
you. Love you.
Love you
Inspiration.
all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a
Peace,
beautiful
Thank
day,
Jamie.
you.
everyone.
Thank you,
You
Thank
everyone.
you.
continue to have a
Thank
beautiful life.
you.
Rest well. Thank you.
Ashe.
Thank you. Thank
Day
you. Thank
bright.
you.
Ashe.
Bye,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank